So today onwards, we are going to start with the concept, the topics that you have in your first PUC syllabus in physics. Okay. So you remember I had given you the chapters, the list of the chapters that you have in your this academic year. Okay. So let us start with our first topic, that is physical world. Okay, so this is our first chapter that we have is the physical world. Now, before starting with this physical world, what we have to know is we have to know general things about now what exactly since we are studying about physics. First of all, we have to know what is actually physics is. Okay, so why do we have to study physics? What is the need of physics? Does it have any scope or simply like that we are studying? Okay, so through this chapter you will be able to understand what are the different ways, what are the different scope of physics that you have. Okay, so in from the primary level till now you must have studied. Okay, you have studied the subject in science. Okay. So in there, first in your primary class, you are studying about the environmental studies that we have. Okay, we studied about the nature, we studied about the different natural phenomena, etc., etc. Okay. So here, first of all, we study science from that of the natural phenomena. Okay. So you remember, nature itself is the one which helps us to study. Okay. Nature is the one which helps us to study about the natural phenomenon. Okay. The daily life, the changes that we observe. Okay, you can see like daily, you can see various things which changes are being taking place over here. Yes or no? Okay. So we as humans, okay, have a lot of curiosity in knowing about what are the changes that actually taking place. Okay, so we can see that new things which are been taking here. Okay, right now you can see that everywhere we hear about corona, isn't it? Okay, so here and we are trying to take some of the measures. Okay, so during the time, okay, initially when this certain kind of virus was came into notice, we did not know much, we did not have that much of awareness what measures could be taken. But due to the study, okay, after knowing about the measures, okay, people started taking care, okay, like what measures can be implemented, especially like you use. Okay, before that you did not know how to why we had to use the sanitizers. Yes or no? Okay, we hardly use sanitizers, okay, and all that. Okay, we did not till now. You must have not used your face mask. Okay, so now all this has been taken, measures have been taken. Okay, so here now I told you for this first is as we humans have a lot of curiosity to know about what is going around our world. Okay, so our world itself has a lot of wonders. We say that it is a wonders. We have a wonders of our nature. Okay, we can see the regular patterns. We can see like day it is turning to night, night to day. This has been going on repeating from many years, isn't it? Okay. Similarly, you will also have about the change in the seasonal patterns. Okay, like how you have from now you have a rainy season. From rainy season, it will be changed to a winter season. Then from a winter season, you have come back to a summer season. Then again after summer seasons are over, again you will come back to a rainy season. So this kind of repetition of a pattern is been continuously we can observe it. Okay. Similarly, you can see that the beautiful pattern of the rainbows. Okay. Some can be a really wonders for us. Similarly, we can also have a hazardous also. Okay. Similarly, we have also a hazardous also. Hazardous means like you have when there is a over flood. Okay, so when there is a flood in due to you can see that in the cases where you have Assam and all, it is varying. Okay, flood which is they are influencing of flood. It is also really hazardous to them. Okay, last year also some places of Karnataka also have been affected with this such kind of hazardous. Okay, thing. So as much as how the natural phenomenon, as how the nature's wonders are good to us, also there is also a disadvantages to it also, isn't it? Okay. Some are benefited, like how you have some things create a advantages to us. Similarly, some you have a disadvantages on our life also. Okay, not only floods, we can also see like earthquakes, okay, tsunamis. These are some of the dangerous hazards to our life. Okay, similarly, we will have a beautiful nature. Okay, you can see nowadays, you can see that everywhere the nature is so much filled with greenery. Okay, especially during the time of rainy season, everywhere you can see that our nature is being full. Everywhere you can see it is green in color. Okay, similarly our biodiversity, the different kinds of animals, the birds, the sounds of the animals. Like certain animals and birds, they make a sound for that of you can hear. Okay, every time you cannot hear the sound from the nature. Nature means I'm talking about the birds, especially. Okay, especially small species that are present over here will be active. Okay, so during the time in the particular season over there. Okay, so our Earth itself has been filled with the biodiversity. Okay, similarly, now as I told you that we are been studying this science subject. Okay, now what do you mean by the science? Okay, we have studied bit about science. Okay, science is nothing but what do you mean by science? Science means to know. Okay, what do you mean by science? Science means to know. Okay, science means to know, or in other ways, it is in Sanskrit, it means vigna, or it means to have a knowledge. Okay, to have a knowledge of something. Okay, to have a knowledge of something. So here, basically, what you are doing over here is as you are moving from one class to another, some new things you are knowing. Okay, you are gaining the knowledge. You are learning something. Okay, it is not the thing that you have been studying or learning the same thing. Okay, from that of the primary class to that of your till your 10th standard. But as you move to your higher and higher classes, you might have observed that there are certain concepts which are being increasing. You remember, you know about the steps. Okay, how you have the steps. So similarly, you are going in terms of your step wise. Okay. So here, science means you have to know about, okay, or basically to gain a knowledge. Okay. Now, from where to gain a knowledge? From to gain a knowledge, basically from that of the natural phenomenon. Okay. So basically, you are trying to gain the knowledge from the nature itself. Okay. That is by the natural phenomenon, isn't it? Okay, by the natural phenomenon which you can see. Now, science, we have this one. Now, what do you mean by scientific method? Okay, scientific method, we have to know, if you know about science, we have to know what are the scientific methods which are being involved over here. Okay, now science is not only that much, it is not only limited to know and to have a knowledge, but also it is to know about what? To know about the concepts in a deeper way. Okay, that is a detailed study of a particular thing, concepts. Okay, if you want, if you are interested in that, okay, you try to study about it, the concept in a more detail. And when you try to study that concept in a more detail, you will acquire a knowledge. Okay, so you will gain a certain kind of a knowledge. And after acquiring certain kind of a knowledge, where are you going to use it? You are going to use it for your purpose. Okay? That is, you are trying to modify. Okay? So after the knowledge which has been gained by you will try to modify in certain things. Okay? Like suppose you might have heard about the researchers, the scientists. What they do then? Okay? They normally tend to grasp. They tend to acquire all kind of details and concepts. Okay, they will study it. Okay, and whatever information that has been collected over here, this information is already collected. They have already gained the knowledge, and they are going to use this kind of a knowledge for some specific way. Now, for what specific way that we are going to see over here. Okay. Now, science does not mean only in the theoretical aspects, but also it involves in the experiments. Yes. So when we say about not only a science, okay, not only in the subject of physics, you can see the subjects like other, okay, like you have chemistry, biology. There also which involves the experimental part. Okay, the theories which has been laid down have to be analyzed now. Okay, how we are going to analyze the things? We are going to analyze the thing by experimentation. Okay. Now let us see what is the scientific method. Now what is the scientific method? Okay. Now what is the scientific method? Scientific method is nothing but it is basically your observation. Okay, your observation. Okay, whatever you have done the experiment, you try to observe it. Okay, and whatever you want to make a modifications, some kind of a reasoning. Okay, thinking is there. Quantitative and qualitative analysis has been done. Predictions has been made. Okay, verification has been done. Similarly, if there is any wrong result, that is falsification, so we need to correct it. Okay, so here accuracy, precision, all this comes under the scientific method. So basically, if you are trying to do any kind of an experiment, so what we do over here is we try to acquire all kinds of details, isn't it? We try to have a theoretical aspect. Theoretical knowledge has to be present within us. If it is not there, then how we are going to do any kind of an experiment? We are not able to move up any further. Yes or no? Okay. So here scientific method is a method which is basically involves the study of the theories. Okay. The process what has been involved. Okay. Doing the following of the procedure and getting the result over here. So not only that, we also have to have the reasoning also, thinking also, mathematical equations are also there, okay, etc. etc. So this is all that we have in the case of a scientific method. Okay. Now you might have heard about now scientific method. Now where it might have evolved from. Okay. Like usually, okay, in the beginning, okay, in the many centuries ago, there was not much of the like experimentation. This was not there. Okay. So this the scientists mainly based on their assumption. They used to assume the things and they used to implement the laws over here. Like suppose if you take for example, like you have the Kepler's planetary motions. Okay, so he stressed onto the data which has been collected from that of known as Copernicus. Okay, so his idea was that about the planetary system, that sun is at the center and all the planets are around it. Okay, this detail what he had got assumption, okay, that much he had been got it from the collected in somewhat in a correct way. But more detail how it is moving, what is the shape, that all have not been analyzed. Okay. Further studies has been implemented. Okay. Okay, and then the detailed structure like what is the pattern followed by these planets all have been made in the further discoveries. Okay. So that basically it will include like it will have the assumptions. Okay, theoretical aspects will be made over here generally. Okay. Now next, what we have is, let us study about let us study in let us see few more examples over here. Few more examples, like suppose if you might have heard about the experiment. Okay, in your lower classes you have already studied about some experiment like you have J. Thomson experiment, and also you might have heard about the alpha scattering experiment. Now let us see about what is known as a physics. Okay, now let us see what is the physics. Now physics is nothing but it is a basic discipline. Okay, it is a basic discipline. It is a basic discipline of natural science. Okay, what is physics is? It is a basic discipline of natural science. Now, what are the natural science we have? We already know that natural sciences that we have over here is physics, then chemistry and biology. Okay, so these are the natural sciences that we have: physics, chemistry, and biology. So here it is a basic discipline of a natural science over here. Now, first of all, what we have to know is, now what is this physics? Okay, physics means it is nature. Okay, physics means nature. Okay, physics means it is nature. That is to study the about the physical world. Okay, so that is to study about the physical world. Now, have you got it? Now, the name of the chapter we have is a physical world. So, basically, what we are doing is we have the introduction of physics. So, we are going to study about the physical world and what are the contributions that has been done by the various physicists. Okay, in the by through the study of physical, the natural phenomenon. Okay. So here once again physics is nothing but it is a basic of discipline of a natural sciences. So physics means it is to study about the nature. Okay. Or you can say is it is study about the physical world. Okay. You know that whatever that surround us is a physical world. So basically we are studying about what are the natural phenomenon which has been taking place over here. Okay. Now next let us see. Okay. Now in this only in studying about the physical world. So here you now here when we talk about physics, we are basically studying about a concept, study of concepts and some basic laws. Okay, so we study about some concept and some basic laws. Now, very well you know about the basic laws. Okay, when it comes to you about the law, first thing that will come into mind is about the Newton's laws of motion, isn't it? Okay, Newton's first law of motion, second law of motion, and third law of motion. Okay, a very good example that have been set into your mind about when it comes to your Newton. Newton is been related to an apple. Okay, so from there, okay, we have the arrived into a laws of motions we have. So here in physics, okay, we are how we are studying the theoretical concept which has been based on the natural phenomenon. Okay, so it is basically the study and manifestations of the natural study of the. So here we are laying down the different laws over here. Okay, that is the basic natural laws we have and how it has been manifested to that of the natural phenomenon. Okay, similar not only in the case of the Newton's laws of motion, we will also have some of the examples like we have the, I told you about the planetary system. Planetary system, when it comes, basically what you have over here is about the earth. Okay, let us take an example of a earth. How the earth revolves around the sun. Okay, how the moon revolves around the earth. Similarly, how the other planets also revolves around the sun. Okay, so this some laws. Okay, we have something called as a gravitational laws we will have. Okay, that we are going to see. You remember I had mentioned to you about some of the topics that we have. So there in the gravitation chapter, we are going to study about the gravitational law. Okay, gravitational universal law it is called. Okay. Now, next what we have over here is, so this is, so we can say that, in shortly we say that physics is, so more to see about physics, it is the study of the concept and it is based on the some basic laws. Okay. So, you may have studied about not only this, okay, you may have come across when you studied, like for example, when you studied about the chapter, okay, in light, when you have studied the chapter in electric field, magnetic field, isn't it? Okay, already if I give you some examples like laws you have studied, like you have laws of reflections, okay, Snell's law you have studied, isn't it? Okay, refraction, laws of refraction also you have studied. Then if you take in terms of the electricity, you have studied about the Ohm's law, isn't it? Okay. Then also then you have in the then also other than laws, we will also some of the rules. Okay, we also have the rules. Okay, rules have been laid down, and also we'll have the principles which are based on the theories. Okay, now let us see what is the scope and excitement of physics. Okay. So students, this first chapter, it is just an introduction and it is just a scope for, to understand for you what is the scope of physics. Okay. Now, here let us see about the scope. Let us see about the what is the scope of physics. Okay. Now, first of all, what you have to know is the scope of physics is usually in terms of a macroscopic and microscopic domains. So we are writing in terms of domains. So we have in terms of macroscopic and the other one we have is a microscopic. Okay. Now, what do you mean by this microscopic and macroscopic domains? Okay. Now, let us see each of them individually. Now, the word itself will tell you, see, microscopic and macroscopic. See, micro is the one you might have heard about microorganisms. Okay. Microorganisms means very small organism, very finite organisms. So, that way, similar way, we have a smaller particles which are smaller we have, and macro means the particles which are larger that can be easily seen by us. Okay. So here let us see about what are the things that comes in the macroscopic. For macroscopic domains are the one which basically involve, like suppose if you are doing an experiment, where you are going to do the experiment in your laboratory. Okay, the apparatus which you will take is all are the macroscopic. Yes or no? Okay, so your laboratory, then your like suppose if you are studying about the if you want to view the stars and all, so you use your telescope. So all these are your macroscopic domains, which are the macroscopic parameters that we use to view the different or observe the things over here. Okay. Microscopic is a level which has been to that only like related to your atomic, molecular and nuclear. Okay. So you remember about the atoms. Okay. So the electrons, like you have the elementary particles over here. Now you will ask me what is this elementary particles? Your protons, your electrons, neutrons, smaller. Okay, very small size they have. So we are not able to observe them. Okay, so you have to use certain kind of instrument that can be that you can it will help you to visualize. You can have a view of that. Okay, so we will have depending on the macroscopic domains and microscopic domains. Okay. Now let us move on to the next phenomenon about let us see about the various phenomenon and which are the different branches of physics that we have. Okay, let us see which are the different branches of physics we have. Okay. Now, if we talk in terms of different branches, first of all, we'll see about the classical physics. We'll see about the classical physics. Now, what is this classical physics and which kind of branches comes under this? So, classical physics will mainly it will deal with mechanics. Then it will have electrodynamics. Then have optics. Okay, mechanics, electrodynamics, optics, and thermodynamics. Okay, so these are the various branches that you have in terms of the classical physics. Okay, mechanics, electrodynamics, optics, and thermodynamics. Now, what are all those? Okay, you have already come across this concepts in your earlier. Okay, you have already studied about here. Now, this mechanics. Now, remember, this is all your macroscopic domains. Okay, this is all your macroscopic domains. Now, when I'm talking about mechanics means what? Mechanics is the one which is related to the motion of the object. You remember about the Newton's laws of motion? Okay, then you have the planetary system. Okay, that is about the gravitational law, which I had given you example. Okay, that is the motion of the planets, motion of the earth, motion of the moon, and all that. Okay, then some other example about the waves, water waves. Okay, that is also comes under mechanics. You will have then waves and oscillations. Okay, that will come for mechanical part. You have then also you have the related to mechanical means like you have work, power, okay, then you have the velocity, acceleration, these are all related force, okay, everything under the mechanics, some of the example. Now next they are the one which deals with mechanics. Next one you have is the electrodynamics. Now what is this electrodynamics? Okay, electrodynamics, the word itself is a tell you that it is the one which is dealing with the electric and a magnetic field. Isn't it? Okay, the word itself will tell you that it is dealing with the electric and a magnetic field. Okay, so you have studied about some of the effects over here. You remember about electricity and magnetic effects. There you have studied about something called as the electric fields and magnetic field. You remember about the experiment that we have studied, like oyster experiment. Okay, oyster experiment, how it helps us to detect how the oyster experiment help us to detect that presence of a magnetic field. You remember the experiment when you have a magnet and a current carrying conductor which was placed and not a magnet, compass, and when this compass was brought nearer and further from that, how you can see there was a deflection which was produced in the compass. Okay, so this gave rise to the effects of the magnetic field. How because the magnetic field is produced, that is why you have the deflection is been observed in the compass over there. Okay, then you have the motion, how the force that arises. Okay, the motion between the charged conductors when it is placed in the magnetic field. Yes or no? Okay. Then we have studied about the AC generators, okay, electric motors, AC generators. Then some of the concept about the electromagnetic induction, how the magnetic field produces the electric field, how the electric field produces a magnetic field, how they are interrelated to each other. This all we have seen in the case of the magnetic effects. Similarly, the case how the magnetic field will give rise to a current, okay, and vice versa. Okay, that you have is all about the electrodynamics. Okay, similarly, you have some of the physicists I told you like Oyster experiment, Oyster, then you have Ampere, Faraday, Maxwell. Okay, how he laid down the series of the equations. Okay, in the electromagnetic theory. Then next you have is the optics. Okay, so optics is very well known to you. Okay, you have already studied, that is the chapter light. You remember about the chapter on light? Okay, where you have studied about reflection, refraction, yes or no? Okay, also you have studied about the dispersion of a light, scattering of a light. Okay, then about the rainbow. Okay, something concept about atmospheric refraction. You remember about the questions like why the sun looks red in color during the sunset and a sunrise, why it is elliptical in shape. Okay, all this phenomenon you have studied in the case of the optics. Okay, that comes under optics. Not only this phenomenon, but also about some of the optical instrument, like which kind of optical instrument, like telescope, microscope, all this we have over here. Okay, that comes which will be under the optics. Okay, that will deal with the optics. Now next one which you have is the thermodynamics. Now what is this thermodynamics? Okay, so you remember thermodynamics. Okay, thermodynamics means it is the one which is dealing with the heat and temperature. Okay, it is the one which is related to your heat and temperature. Okay, so here you will have the domains. Okay, the variables that will be over here is like you have temperature, pressure, volume, all this will be measured. Okay, you can measure them. Okay, so and also not only I'm talking in terms of heat and temperature, but also about the efficiency of the various engines. Okay, efficiency means which one is more efficient. Okay, looking into the amount of power which has been taken up. Okay, and how much is the power which has been delivered. Okay, based on that we calculate the efficiency over here. Okay, so all these are the one which you have a classical physics which will have a macroscopic domains. Okay. Now let us see about the microscopic domains. Now to look into microscopic domains, now what happens over here is when I talk in terms of mechanics, you remember I told you Newtonian mechanics, that is the Newton's laws of motion. Now those laws of motions, it could not be applied for all branches of physics. Okay. Now when we are dealing with the atomic or a molecular level, or when we are dealing with the nuclear, that time Newtonian mechanics will not help us to understand. Okay, so for that what happens over here is Newton. Now this microscopic I told you, it is to the atomic, then molecular, atomic, molecular and nuclear. So in terms of the micro, okay, smallest ranges that you have. Okay, atomic, molecular and nuclear is basically what we will study about. We will study about the structure of the atom. What is the interatomic distance between the atoms? Okay, interatomic distance between the atoms. What is the kinetic energy? What is the energy that has been gained by the electron? Okay, how much is the energy which has been released due to excitations? Okay, and also molecular, if you have studied what is the energy which has been also associated. Okay, which energy required to binding the electrons, neutrons, all that will be under the microscopic domains over here. Okay, so here next. Okay, so this we have classification based on the domains, that is a scope. So we can see that there is a wide range of scope of physics. Okay, it has been very vast. Okay, and it is said to be dynamic. Dynamic means it is no, there is no endless theory over here. Okay, there is no endless theory over here. Okay, it is very vast and it is continuous process. It is in a continuous process. There is no end stop. There is no full stop for this theory. Yes or no? Okay. Still there is a discoveries still been going on. Okay. Still there is a discoveries which are, you can see that it is been going on. Okay. Now next what we have over here is, that is in terms of the scope that we have. Now let us see what are the more about, let us see about the physics. Now why we have to learn about physics? Okay, so first of all it is an excitement. Okay, it is an exciting subject. Why it is an exciting subject? Okay, it does not have only a theoretical aspects. Now, if you tend to see over here, what we are doing over here is, we can, other than studying, okay, other than knowing about the physical laws, other than knowing about the theories, other than knowing about the principles, okay, all that, we are also going through the experimental part also, okay. For some of them, you can see that physics, okay, some will enjoy studying about, knowing about more details about the theories, okay. Whereas some, it will be different case, means all are not unique over here, okay. Some all have the different thinking capacity, ability is different over here, thinking, imagination is also different over here. So here, so basically what do we have here is, so some will have will go to the theoretical aspect, some will go try to understand the theoretical aspects in terms of the practical way. Okay. Similarly, when they are doing the practical work, so when I'm trying to do an experiment, any kind of experiment. Now, when initial starting, I have told you about, we have to know about the concept. The theory has to be very well known to us, isn't it? Okay, we have to know the theory very well. Then only we can do the experiment in a proper way. Okay, so for example that we have is, if you understand the theories very well, okay, and if you doing an experiment, so you know that theoretical value of such a result that has to be obtained is so much value. I know that my result, I have to obtain this much of value, but I do the experiment, do the process, okay, completely in the way which I had to do it correctly, I do it, but I don't get the result correctly. So again, what is to be done is, there is to be modifications which is to be done over here. Modifications means little bit changes over there. Again, trying to do the method, do the experiment, okay, same process. Then little bit more precise to that of the accurate value. Still more modification has been done. Again, I will get the result more accurate, little bit closer to that of the accuracy. So this is how, similarly, not how the people, okay, that is the scientists, physicists, initial days, they have done many times, okay, they have tried many times and then succeeded in getting the result. Simply in one shot only, in one, they won't get the result, okay. So they have tried it many times and they have got the result over there. So there is a trial is been done, okay. So in order to reduce the error. So why this error has been reduced? In order to get the accurate value, in order to get the precise, means whatever value which is there, okay, precision, the word precision which is there, okay, you have to get that of the accurate value. So that is why little bit modification is being done. Now from where do they do this modification? Of whatever knowledge they have gained, whatever they have known earlier, studied earlier, okay, seen the studied about the laws, okay, how it can be applied to certain concepts. All this has been understood by them, and then only they have done such kind of experiment. Okay. Then, so first of all, first point over here is, it is a subject which only theoretical aspects is not only enough, but also qualitative and quantitative analysis also has to be needed over here. Okay, that is the first one. Second one is, now all the certain kind of laws which has been laid down. Like you have the energy law, conservation of energy. Then you have the gravitational law. Okay, and other kind of laws which you have. This law which has been laid down, it has to be universally accepted. Means it is said to be universal laws. Okay. So suppose if we are following those law and if we are based on that follow up, okay, or we are going through that laws, not only we but the entire universe has to go on to the law. Okay. For that the law, when it has been mentioned that universal law, which means it won't be changing for other parts of the country or other planets. Universe means entirely that law has to be accepted by all the people. Okay. Of course, like certain we have certain values. We may say for example, you may say that acceleration due to gravity. Okay. For Earth, we have acceleration due to gravity about 9.8. Okay. Whereas we take in case of a moon and all, it will be lesser. Okay. So, but over here, that takes the measurement of the mass also. So gravity means mass with that of acceleration due to gravity acceleration. Okay. So there you have it. You have mg. Okay. Yes. Fine. Now next we will see. Okay. We'll what I have told over here is I have told first thing what I have told is about the how qualitative is essential. Similarly, how quantitative is essential. Qualitative is also very important over here. Similarly, whatever laws which has been laid down, it has to be universally accepted by all. Okay. Simple examples like certain modifications. Now, what modifications? I'll give one small example. You must have seen about if I have one side, if I have a what is that stone, and if I hold a feather. Okay. So if I throw this. So what you will observe that you will see that both are being thrown at the same height. I will observe that stone will fall at a much faster rate as compared to that of a feather. Now why does this thing happen? Why does this thing happen? Mainly because of the weight. There is a difference in the weight that you have. Okay. This particular stone is more weight and this one will have a lesser weight. Okay. That is the mass comes into play. Of course, both will have acceleration due to gravity, that g which you have is both same over here, isn't it? But there is a mass variation, isn't it? Okay. Suppose if you try to neglect that mass, then we will see that both are falling at the same rate. And that is one about the presence of the free fall, acceleration due to gravity, free fall. Then another important is due to some presence of air resistance. Okay, feather. Okay, due to it is having such a light weight and due to the presence of air resistance, it will take more time. So if you have neglect that, then we also can make an assumption that both will fall at the same rate. Okay. So here, so this, what I can say over here is the scope of physics is been not limited. It is very vast and it is enlarging more and more. Okay. We'll end with the session. Okay, and we'll come back to the later concept in the next class. Thank you, students.